All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning in to the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? I actually just landed in Vegas, so I just actually ate at Italy. I eat at all the Italys all over North America, including Italy, and I haven't done this one. So I went there and shot a video for my YouTube page. It was pretty good. Different. Each Italy is different, has its own unique thing, which I love about it. This is more self-serving unless you go in the restaurants. They're all kind of self-serving, but this one isn't as grocery driven as the other ones. It's definitely more food and alcohol, definitely wine driven. So in case you ever come here, and it's not in the MGM Grand, it's across the street down the block. So what is that? MGM something. I forgot the name. It's in an MGM something. It's across from New York, New York. Anyways, I don't even know why I got into that. But what I'm going to get into today on this podcast is something that made me think about who I became over the years. And I thought about this actually at the gym the other day, but really when I flew into Vegas today, and I used to love coming to Vegas. I used to gamble here. I gambled all over the country. And I used to fly legit everywhere or drive I was just all over the place. And I would even end up in crazy places. Biloxi, Yucaipa, California, obviously Atlantic City, Vegas, of course, places all over Illinois, including Peoria. And my ex-wife loved to gamble as well, and my closest friend. And not only did we love to gamble, we used to take bets as well because we used to book. So gambling was something I did all the time, and I got a really unbelievable deal. And here's the thing: if you're coming to Vegas, shop around. I think I got the MGM for $100 or maybe $60, and then they charged me like a $45 fee. Went to the resort fee or some bullshit, but for like 100 and really low hundreds, real low. I got a beautiful suite here because it's not in season. But yeah, if you're going to come to Vegas, definitely look for the deals. But last time, so I was pulling up. Actually, the Uber guy picked me up. I didn't rent a car this time. And I was looking at Vegas and I said, as much as it's grown, it really hasn't changed. Right? And, there's more hotels, but the environment really, when I was in the 90s, early 90s coming to Vegas, it was still kind of a little bit of old school, kind of the ass end of it. And then we're kind of transferring it to want to be kid friendly, which made kind of no sense. They were opening Wet n Wild, bringing in roller coasters and all that, which eventually got weeded out. But for the most part, it's very similar. And the guy even said the same, the Uber driver. And then I said what was quite interesting is I said, last time I was at the MGM, I saw Rita Rutner years ago. 25 years ago, I saw Dennis Miller. I saw Copperfield. And then on the big thing, MGM, it said Copperfield. And I said, you know what? It kind of really, nothing has changed really here. And I even did my honeymoon here. I don't even know, 1995? I don't even know how many years ago it was. 25 years almost, I think, it'd be going on. I would have been married still. And Copperfield was such a sneaky bastard. He even picked my ex-wife, who was a beautiful young lady, to go up on stage. And I think he kind of flirts with the girls. She didn't want to have anything to do with him. It was hysterical. That's what he kind of played off of that. I don't think she would even give him a kiss goodbye or a hug. It was hilarious. She's not that type of girl. She's like, get away from me. But what I was thinking about, and what I want this subject to be, is, the person you are now in a relationship is not the person you're going to be in the future. And I don't think many people realize that when first dating someone, or if you're in a relationship, or if you're married, or if you're engaged, or I don't care if you're getting a divorce. I don't care what the hell you're doing in your life. I think people need to acknowledge you are not the same person today that you're actually going to even be most likely tomorrow to a certain degree. I know that sounds whack. If you look at a week, a month, years, you are constantly evolving and everything around you is changing. And every day, for the most part, you're learning different things. You're also taking on different habits, dispositions. Like anything else, you could walk out of your house tomorrow, get hit by a car, your life changes, right? That's drastic. But you can learn something about whoever you're with tonight in a relationship, good or bad, that changes your relationship immediately. But for the most part, let's get into years. I really don't think people understand that who you are at this moment is not going to be who you are, especially if you plan on having children, or even if you have children, because your kids are going to get older, you're going to get older, right? Whoever you're with is going to get older. If you have parents in your life, they're getting older. They may even pass away, just saying. You may have other people in your life pass away. You may pass away. But the point I'm trying to say is when you look at relationships for yourself, you have to have a lot of patience, not only for other people, because they're going to change no matter what. I don't care who they are. I know a lot of people are like, you know what, they never changed over the years. I can assure you they did change. You just never seen the changes or what other people went through with that person or what that person was going through. But you also have to have patience for yourself. You are going to fuck up. And that doesn't mean I'm saying to the point where you're going to cheat or steal or do, you just may fuck up certain things. You may make mistakes in life. It could be at your job. It could be investing money. It could be saying something. It could be accusing somebody of something. It could be lying. It could be whatever the case may be. You are not going to live a perfect life. It's impossible. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a religious figure. I don't care who the hell you think you are. Not only that, other people are going to also talk shit about you behind your back. So there's going to be things happening in your life you have no control over. Something's positive, something's negative. That's kind of common sense, but I don't, again, think people realize these things. But if you're younger and you're getting married, and I'm going to do a podcast strictly on prenuptial agreements that I believe are the best thing actually to start a relationship or start a marriage. I think they're the best thing. That's just my opinion, and I'll get into that on a different podcast. But I'm going to tell you something. I'll just briefly get into a prenuptial agreement very quickly, not get too in depth in it. And I don't care if you're broke, and I don't care if you're a man or a woman, and I don't care if you're financially successful. You go to whoever you're with and say, I want to get a prenuptial agreement. If they say no problem, wonderful. I would definitely stick with that person. If that person says absolutely not, truthfully, I would never trust them again. I am that dead set on it. And I mean that. And here's the thing, regardless if you're rich or poor now, and whoever you're going with maybe have more wealth than you. It doesn't matter. In the future, again, you may be extremely wealthy. You may not, right? But the case may be your relationship should not be, especially at the beginning, based around money. And a lot of people will get exposed, I believe. No matter what they tell you and say, oh no, I am not getting married because, whatever the intention of getting a divorce, then you should prenup. Then don't worry about it. Oh no, I am getting married. You hear this story too. It's not about money. Well, then prenup it, because at the end, I'll have what I have, you have what you have. Now you're still going to evolve together and make money probably together, and things are always legally going to attach you to certain things. But if you really want to protect yourself, and a lot of times protect someone else, because here's the thing too, I believe too. A lot of women out there, especially I should say, are becoming more and more wealthy, and they're attaching them to themselves to a lot of jagoffs. There's a lot of deadbeat dudes out there, especially deadbeat dads, a lot of that shit. And a lot of men may start off making more money than women, let's say, and a lot of times I think now more than ever I'm seeing, especially middle-aged women, they're becoming more successful, and a lot of guys aren't. I don't know why, but women out there too, listen. Just protect yourself is what I should say. Men and women. And like I said, I'm going to get more into the prenup thing later. But I definitely think if you're going to get married, you need to protect yourself, because again, the person you are now and the person you're with in the future is not going to be the same person. And as you know, they claim divorce is like 55%. It's probably more like 65. Let's call it for what it is. They just lie. And the truth is, how many happy marriages in the long run are there? Let's face it. Like, really, how many people are truly happy in their marriage? Probably, and I'm talking after 25 years, 35, 40 years, probably not nearly as many as you think. It's kind of a facade, which is fine. People stick together, and that's wonderful. But in this day and age, to stay married for long periods of time, good luck with that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I may end up married again. If I end up married again, fine. If I don't, whatever. I'm not here to bash marriage. I'm just here to give people awareness of what I've kind of gone through in my life and my perspective. Again, you may think I'm completely wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong a lot of times regarding a lot of these things, because I just think I've had a lot of experience being around adults for such a long period of time in my life, and I was also around a lot of people that did a lot of shady things and good things, and for some reason I can remember a lot of this shit. And I don't think a lot of people, when it comes to marriage or relationships, especially parents talking to their own kids, or I should say younger adults talking to their parents or others, they think it's a dream. Like everything in a relationship, when you're first getting married and having children and having a white picket fence with the house and all these different types of things, is the only way to go, and it's like a dream lifestyle, which couldn't be further from the truth. Because the truth is, you never know what's going to happen to you. You don't know if when you get married, either one of you could get sick, husband, wife. You may have sick children. You may fall into financial stress or financial, whatever financially, problems. Between two people, here's the thing that a lot of people got to realize in a relationship. In the long run, okay, and say you plan on being married 50 years. For one, most people get married in their mid-20s. You've only lived 25 years. And really, as an adult and knowledge, how much knowledge do you really have as an adult? Very little. What's your life experiences? Very little. So what you believe is a lot of bullshit. Because either someone pitched it on you, or on the other end, you may have been in a horrible environment, right? So you may have gone through like parents being divorced, screaming. You may have a parent that's an alcoholic, drug addict, whatever the case may be. You may look at it from a perspective as marriage is horrible, too. So it could be extreme on both ends, right? Because a lot of parents, too, pretend that their relationship is great. And as you know, after their kids leave the house, they end up getting a divorce. I think more than ever now. But back to you, if you're getting in a relationship, you're younger or middle, you're in your mid-20s or late 20s or even early 30s, you've got to realize between the two of you, again, like I said earlier, you're going to probably fuck up, but here's the deal. Out of the two of you, the odds of both of you living a clean, untouched life and not wanting to at times leave that situation or be distracted or want out or want to, it could be as simple as just not agreeing with that other person on a lot of things. That's what you're going to be facing. Okay, I'm just telling you that it's really unrealistic to say these two people are going to have the same beliefs throughout the rest of their life. Religious, political, raising the family, the way where they want to live, the lifestyle they want to lead, all these different types of things. It's unrealistic to think that you're not going to have problems. You're going to have a massive amount of problems or issues come up. But how you deal with them is what the difference is. And I hope you know that. And I don't care what religious figure tells you that, God bless that if you go to church every Sunday and you believe in God, that is wonderful. But if you think like only God, like just believing in God is going to always save your marriage or following a certain type of rules with God, even if you follow all those rules and do all those things, there's still so many other things in your life that can happen that aren't even religious or have nothing to do with religion that can ruin your marriage or ruin your relationship. And the one thing I would say more than anything, if you are getting in a relationship or you're looking at that, is always, and when I say be honest with one another, I'm not telling you if you're a dude to go to your wife and go, you know what, I like blondes now, or I like this, I like sex, whatever your bullshit is, and forget all that shit. Forget about sex and all the bullshit. Being honest from the perspective of saying, you know what, I'm feeling that this is how I am now, or I am interested in doing this. Again, I'm not talking about sex or any of that nonsense. I'm talking about maybe career, or maybe it's the way you want to raise your children, or maybe it's even something you're getting religious and you don't live in a religious household, or you're sick of religion. It's drowning you, or whatever the case may be. There's millions of different things you're going to be going through. Just try to be honest with that, because I think what really happens is people suppress, and before you know it, they're absolutely miserable, and then they just almost want to flee. So again, back to realizing that you're not going to be the same person in the future that you are now. And if you would have took me 25 years ago, I thought I was going to be married forever. I already dated her for a long period of time. At that point in time, I was, I don't even know how long, 8-9 years I was already dating before I even got engaged. I was, whatever. And we had so much in common. We had a lot of fun. Everything was right, and I always thought it would be right forever, right? But as time went on, especially after you have children, again, you're both changing. With every child you have, you are changing, they're changing. Every job you have, the person's changing. Every time you move into another neighborhood, that's changing. Social media comes into play. Then all of a sudden, everybody kind of changes a little there. They don't want to admit it. Or the way we look at each other differently, depending on what they're doing on social media, who they're connecting with. All these different things are coming into play. But if you said 25 years from now, Rich, you'd be divorced for 10 years. Now you're back in Vegas. Not only that, you're working late at night, which I used to have my own schedule, do whatever I wanted to do, this is fine. I like doing what I'm doing, believe me. But I wouldn't be working late at night because I was exhausted at that point in time living in the nightclub bar business. So I worked late, but it was working for my father. I never worked with anyone else. Now I'm working with someone else. But me, I just walk through a casino and it's almost like audio assault, like you hear everything going on, screaming, yelling, bar life, and I just walk right past it. I mean, I used to fly thousands of miles to go gamble. Like I was almost just sweating to get on a table, a craps table, a blackjack table, or for that excitement. If you said, Rich, in 25 years, you're going to walk through a casino and not even sit down at a blackjack table, I would have said, are you out of your mind? Or you wouldn't even go out and have drinks or go shopping or do this or that in Vegas, catch shows, because I love catching all the different shows every time I came to Vegas. I would hit everyone. Every top comedian that was here, every magic show, I loved that shit. And I'd get great seats. And now me as a person, I'm looking at myself, and I'm not that much older. It's not like I'm 7 years old. I'm 50. But I evolved into an entirely different person. Now, that may be extreme, but I think what happens to a lot of people, if you go back to when you first got married, or if you've been married, say for 25 years, 30 years, even 10 years, go back and look at how you have evolved and how you have changed. And it'll probably amaze you. And I think what's really crazy with social media is I'm looking on Facebook and they shoot these memories up. I think nowadays with our phones, we don't have as many hard copies of photos. So we used to look through photo books. And you look at them and go, oh my God, look what I look like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years. Now it's mainly phones and it's basically social media, I think. But these 10-year memories pop up and I'm like, holy cow, look, even in the middle from the last 10 years. So if I go back 5 years, I'm like, wow, look at this. I was doing this and I thought this way and I was doing this way. And the way I thought about relationships was even different. So even this podcast, probably 5 years or X amount of years in the future, I'll probably maybe agree and disagree with some of the things I'm saying now just because I've evolved and I've changed. So that's something definitely to think about when getting in a relationship, or if you're in a relationship, or if you've been in one for a long time, is really don't beat yourself up, but understand you are constantly going to be evolving. You're going to be changing, and you are not going to be the same person in the future that you are now. I don't care how stagnant you try to stay. Maybe if you go off the grid and you don't have anything to do with society and you live in the woods, somebody like I was watching that show, what's it, 30 below zero or some shit, or you have these guys who live in Alaska and they live a certain lifestyle and that's it. But if you are in the world like a regular Joe, things are constantly changing, and I could assure you, you're changing, even though you may not want to admit it, even by the way you use your cell phone, the computer. The devices you're going to use in the future are going to make what we're using now prehistoric. A lot of things you believe probably now in the future are going to be prehistoric. So just something to think about. So I'm going to wrap it up there. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel, Rich CELENZA. I talk about some of this stuff too in my program, Mastering Self-Confidence, where I try to help men find the woman or women of their dreams. You can find all that stuff on richcelenza.com, and I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So take care, and if you're traveling, safe travels.